April 23, 2025. Bangalore. Marathali, a neighborhood where glass-fronted apartments line the skyline, and luxury meets the rush of city life. Inside one of these upscale homes, 28-year-old Dr. Kritika lay still on her bed. At first glance, it looked like she was sleeping peacefully. But as her eyelids twitched and her fingers trembled faintly, it became clear she wasn't waking from sleep. She was struggling out of unconsciousness. Her eyelashes fluttered, her breath quivered, and slowly, painfully slowly, her eyes opened, like the heavy gates of a dam creaking under pressure. For a few seconds, she couldn't tell whether it was day or night. The bright light spilling through the curtains only added to the confusion. Kritika wasn't recovering from rest. She was recovering from something that had pushed her body into darkness. And as her senses returned, so did the pain, sharp burning, radiating from the back of her hand where a medical foreline pierced her skin. The plastic tube connected to her veins throbbed slightly as the liquid dripped. It wasn't a new experience. Kritika had always been surrounded by medicines and drips. She had long been dealing with health complications, low blood pressure, stomach issues, intestinal pain, and frequent fatigue. The doctors who knew her considered her body sensitive, yet she carried herself with the calm confidence of someone used to both prescribing and receiving treatment. Yes, Kritika was not just a patient. She was a doctor herself, a dermatologist, and the irony of her condition was that the person treating her at home was also her husband, Dr. Mahendra, a general surgeon working at the Institute of Gastroenterology Sciences and Organ Transplant, popularly known as IGT, a division of Victoria Hospital in Bangalore. That night, when she felt the irritation from the foreneedle, Kritika picked up her phone. Instead of calling, she texted her husband, asking softly whether she could remove it, just to ease the pain. The reply came swiftly. No, don't remove it. She obeyed. She trusted him. But that night, around 9:30 p.m., Mahendra came home and gave her another injection through the same foreline. Her body, weak and tired, slipped back into unconsciousness within minutes. This time, her eyes, which had fought so hard to open, closed easily and never opened again. The next morning, Kritika's father, noticing that she wasn't waking up, rushed her to Koveri Hospital. The staff checked her vitals, only to deliver a sentence that shattered his world. She was already gone. Doctors confirmed it. Dr. Kritika was dead. Her father, heartbroken but aware of her medical history, tried to console himself. She had so many health problems, maybe her body couldn't take it anymore. Everyone around him believed the same. Everyone except one person. Dr. Nikita. She wasn't just any doctor. She was Kritika's elder sister, a radiologist, and the moment she saw her sister's lifeless body, something inside her refused to accept the explanation of natural death. Her instincts, shaped by both her profession and her bond as a sister, whispered that something was wrong. She voiced it immediately. There's something mysterious about this death. Her suspicion fell straight on the man who had treated Kritika the night before, her own brother-in-law, Dr. Mahendra. But her father couldn't accept that. No, Nikita. He's her husband. He's a doctor. Don't say such things. Nikita didn't argue. She observed. And as hours passed and inconsistencies surfaced, her suspicion only deepened. Soon, her voice grew louder. She insisted on a post-mortem examination. Even as the family hesitated, Nikita stood firm. We can't bury her without knowing the truth, she told them. With her persistence, the hospital administration filed a police complaint citing doubt in the cause of death. The autopsy was conducted at Victoria Hospital. The report came back a few days later. No external injuries. No signs of poisoning. Cause of death, natural complications due to pre-existing medical conditions. Everyone sighed in relief. The report seemed to confirm what they already believed. Kritika's father finally felt a small sense of closure. But for Nikita, it was the opposite. She read the report line by line, her heart pounding. Something wasn't adding up. If it was truly a natural death, why had Kritika's body reacted the way it did? Why had her pulse dropped so suddenly? Why had her husband insisted on treating her at home instead of admitting her to a hospital, despite her worsening condition? Nikitha's instinct screamed that the autopsy wasn't enough. She demanded another test, a toxicology analysis. To the police and forensic teams, she explained calmly. In a normal autopsy, only visible injuries or basic causes are noted. But in toxicology, the blood, tissues, and internal organs are examined at a micro level. If there's any chemical, sedative, or foreign substance in the system, even in trace amounts, we'll find it there. Her persistence paid off. Samples were taken from Kritika's body and sent to the Forensic Science Laboratory, FSL, for chemical analysis. And then, time began to stretch. Weeks turned into months. 6 months passed. The case went quiet. The family tried to move on except Nikitha. She waited. She kept following up. Deep inside, she was certain that something in those sealed containers, blood, liver, kidneys, held the secret behind her sister's death. Then, one day in October 2025, a report arrived that would shake everyone connected to this case. It came from the FSL, marked urgent. The toxicology report revealed something shocking. In most of Kritika's organs, a powerful sedative drug called propofol was found, in dangerously high concentration. Propofol, a name that meant nothing to the average person, but to doctors, it meant only one thing. It was a powerful anesthetic agent used only in operation theaters, under the strict supervision of an anesthetist, to make a patient fully unconscious during surgery. Administering it at home, and especially through a regular 4 drip, was not just wrong. It was a violation of medical ethics. And the dose found in Kritika's system wasn't a mild one. It was massive. Enough to put a patient into deep, irreversible unconsciousness. The revelation sent shockwaves through the family. The same father who had once defended Mahendra now felt a chill in his spine. The same daughter he thought had died of illness may have been killed by the very man who promised to save her. Nikitha's long-standing suspicion was now confirmed by science. Kritika hadn't died naturally. She had been injected with a lethal dose. Police immediately reclassified the case from unnatural death to suspected homicide. And as they began tracing back the chain of events, every injection, every conversation, every prescription, one truth emerged. The only person who had access to her treatment, who administered the drips, and who insisted she stay at home under his care, was her husband, Dr. Mahendra. The toxicology report had changed everything. For 6 months, everyone had lived with the comfort of closure, the belief that Kritika's death was just fate, not foul play. But now, those illusions had vanished. The police reopened the file. Statements were re-recorded, and the man once treated as a grieving husband suddenly became the prime suspect. His name was Dr. Mahendra Reddy, a respected surgeon working at IGT, the Institute of Gastroenterology Sciences and Organ Transplant, a division of Victoria Hospital, Bangalore. It wasn't just any institute. It was one of the most prestigious and advanced medical wings in the state, handling high-risk surgeries and organ transplants. Doctors like Mahendra were trained to precision, confident, meticulous, and deeply trusted by their patients. But the same hands that had saved countless lives were now suspected of taking one. When the investigation began, police first tried to locate Mahendra for questioning. He wasn't at his residence, and his phone remained switched off. Days passed. Eventually, through sources in the medical network, they learned that he was attending a conference in Manipal. On October 14, 2025, a team from the Bangalore police reached the venue quietly. Among the crowd of white coats and professionals, they spotted him calm, composed, unaware that his world was about to collapse. They approached him discreetly, introduced themselves, and requested that he come along for questioning. The doctor didn't resist. He simply adjusted his glasses, nodded once, and walked out. At the police station, the tone remained respectful. He was, after all, a medical professional, not an ordinary suspect. But behind that courtesy, the officers were determined to find the truth. As the investigation deepened, more details began to unfold, details that painted a complex picture of the man behind the surgical gloves. Mahendra was a general surgeon and, by all accounts, brilliant at his work. His colleagues at Victoria Hospital described him as disciplined and composed, someone who could perform a complex operation without breaking a sweat. It was at the same hospital that he met Dr. Kritika, a young dermatologist known for her kind nature and striking intelligence. They met as colleagues, bonded over shared professional interests, and soon, friendship turned into love. After a few years of courtship, they got married on May 26, 2024, a grand ceremony that blended two respected medical families. For a while, it was a perfect picture. Two doctors, both talented, living in a beautiful house in Marathali, planning a bright future together. But what looked perfect from the outside was slowly crumbling within. When the police questioned Kritika's family and friends, the same story began to emerge again and again. Quiet marital tension, small arguments that grew into larger conflicts. There were 5 major clues that investigators believed hinted at Mahendra's possible motive. First, Mahendra had reportedly been pressuring Kritika's family to help him start a private hospital. When they refused, citing financial strain, it caused friction between him and his in-laws. Kritika, however, tried to remain neutral. Second, when his request was denied, Kritika began working independently to open her own skin clinic, something she had always dreamed of. To most, it was an inspiring move. But to Mahendra, according to those close to them, it became a point of jealousy. Third, there were rumors, whispered among colleagues, that Mahendra might have been involved in an illicit relationship with another female doctor. Whether true or not, this speculation deepened the emotional divide between the couple. Fourth, Kritika's sister revealed that her late sibling had several health issues, low blood pressure, intestinal troubles, and fatigue, all of which she allegedly hid from Mahendra before their marriage. This, according to Nikita, had caused many heated arguments at home. Fifth, the investigation uncovered something darker. Both Mahendra and his twin brother, Dr. Nagendra Reddy, had prior criminal and fraud cases filed against them, one in 2018 and another in 2023. Though the nature of these cases wasn't immediately made public, it revealed a side of Mahendra's past that Kritika's family had never known. Each of these threads, when woven together, pointed to a marriage that was far from peaceful. But one detail disturbed the investigators more than anything else. On the night Kritika died, both her father and Mahendra had been present. When doctors at Koveri Hospital suggested an autopsy, standard procedure for any unexplained death, Mahendra strongly objected. He insisted it wasn't necessary. He argued with the medical staff, claiming it would only add pain to the family and that Kritika's body should be taken home immediately. If Dr. Nikita hadn't intervened that night, the autopsy and the toxicology analysis that followed would never have happened. Without those tests, Kritika's death would have been written off as a natural one. Now, as police sat across from Mahendra in the interrogation room, they asked him to explain. Why did he administer 4 injections at home? What exactly was in those vials? Why wasn't she admitted to the hospital? Mahendra maintained his calm. She was my wife. She trusted me. She had stomach pain. I gave her what I thought would help. But the officers pressed further. Dr. Mahendra, the FSL report says your wife's organs contained a high concentration of propofol. You're a surgeon, you know that drug isn't meant for casual use. So why was it in her body? For a moment, his composure cracked. His eyes shifted. Then he leaned back and replied softly, I didn't inject anything harmful. Maybe her system reacted badly. The officers exchanged glances. It wasn't a denial. It wasn't a confession either. But it was enough to know there was more he wasn't saying. As they pieced together the timeline, the truth began to crystallize. On April 21st, 2025, Kritika had complained of stomach pain. She wanted to visit the hospital, but Mahendra stopped her. There's no need, he told her. We're both doctors. I'll treat you myself. That night, he administered and 4 at home. The next day, when she fainted again, he continued the same line of treatment. Instead of recovery, her condition worsened. Finally, on April 23rd, he drove her to her father's house, still with the 4-needle in her hand, telling them she just needed rest. That same night, he returned and injected her one last time. Hours later, she was dead. To the investigators, this pattern spoke volumes. Propofol isn't available in pharmacies. It's used strictly inside hospitals, under anesthetic supervision. To access it, one must either work in an operation theater or have strong hospital clearance. Mahendra, being a surgeon, had both. Police theorized that he had used his professional access to obtain the drug secretly and brought it home. There, using the 4-line already inserted, he injected his wife, not with medicine, but with death. When the news of his arrest broke, the medical community in Bangalore was stunned. A well-known surgeon accused of killing his own wife, a fellow doctor, inside their home. Forensic experts later confirmed it. The fatal dose of propofol was enough to stop breathing within minutes. There were no external injuries, no struggle, and no noise. A perfectly silent death. After Mahendra's arrest, the police faced a daunting task. The case wasn't just about a suspicious death, it was about proving intent, access, and the sequence of injections that led to Kritika's demise. Officers began reconstructing the timeline meticulously. They visited the Marathali residence, mapping the apartment down to every detail, where the 4-line had been inserted, the placement of furniture, even the positioning of the bed. Small clues, a slightly disturbed bedside table, a syringe cap on the floor, faint marks on the bedding were catalogued as evidence. Each item told a story. The 4-kit itself was a critical piece. Forensic teams examined it for fingerprints and residue. Tests confirmed traces of propofol in the tubing, a direct link to the lethal doses found in Kritika's body. Police also collected digital evidence. Mahendra's phone revealed communication logs that hinted at careful planning. He had researched dosages, administration methods, and even the pharmacokinetics of propofol. These were conversations he believed private, but investigators now had access to every message. Meanwhile, medical records were scrutinized. Hospital inventories confirmed that only personnel with anesthetic clearance could access propofol, and Mahendra had that access. Investigators reconstructed the chain, how he could have obtained the drug discreetly, transported it home, and administered it without detection. Witness statements were revisited. Neighbors recalled hearing faint movements on the night Kritika died, footsteps and murmurs that now, in hindsight, fit the timeline of the injections. Even small inconsistencies in Mahendra's prior statements were noted, minor errors in recounting when he had returned home, or which injections he had given. Each discrepancy built a clearer picture. A team from the FSL returned to cross-verify organ samples. Chemical residue, concentration patterns, and the pharmacological effects all matched a repeated administration of propofol over several hours. This ruled out accidental overdose. It was deliberate. Simultaneously, investigators examined Mahendra's professional history. His twin brother, Nagendra Reddy, had been linked to prior cases of medical fraud and prescription irregularities. Patterns emerged suggesting that Mahendra had not only knowledge but experience in manipulating medical procedures for personal gain. While not all of it was criminal in this context, it gave police a psychological profile, a man capable of exploiting medical expertise for murder. The reconstruction was methodical. Investigators recreated the night in the apartment with mannequins and time-stamped logs. They simulated the administration of propofol and how it would affect someone with Kritika's pre-existing health conditions. Each simulation confirmed what forensic evidence had already shown: the death could not have been natural. Interviews with friends and colleagues revealed subtle signs of marital tension, corroborating motives outlined in Part 2. Investigators noted that Mahendra had financial ambitions, professional jealousy, and emotional resentment, all factors that could have influenced his decision to harm Kritika. As the evidence mounted, a pattern emerged that was both chilling and precise. Mahendra had planned the injections in advance. He used his medical knowledge to bypass suspicion. controlled access to the hospital-only drug, ensured that the final act appeared natural to outsiders. The case now moved from suspicion to comprehensive proof, and every new detail reinforced the grim reality: Kritika's death had been orchestrated. With the reconstruction complete, the investigation entered its final phase. Mahendra remained in custody, and the evidence against him was overwhelming: physical, digital, and forensic. Investigators prepared detailed reports, documenting every step of the night Kritika died. The sequence of injections, the concentration of propofol in her organs, the tampering of timelines, and Mahendra's calculated access to the drug were all included. Each report formed a mosaic of meticulous planning, a story the evidence could tell, even in the absence of witnesses. The police coordinated with legal authorities to ensure that the case was airtight. Lawyers reviewed toxicology reports, medical records, and reconstructed timelines. Expert testimonies were lined up from pharmacologists, forensic pathologists, and anesthetists, professionals who could explain the lethal nature of propofol and its misuse. Outside the courtroom, the public followed the case with fascination and horror. A respected surgeon accused of killing his wife in their home, a quiet Marathali apartment, challenged the sense of safety many felt in modern city life. The story highlighted not just crime, but the betrayal of trust between loved ones, between patient and doctor, between husband and wife. For Dr. Nikitha, the journey had been long and painful. Her persistence had uncovered the truth, but the emotional toll was immense. Standing beside her sister's memory, she spoke of ethics, vigilance, and the courage to question what seems obvious. Sometimes, she said, the body tells a story that the eyes cannot see, and the mind must listen carefully to the whispers of evidence. The investigators reflected on the human aspects as well. In every detail, the precise injections, the controlled environment, the silent death, there was a lesson about expertise used for harm. The case emphasized the duality of knowledge. The same skills that save lives can, in the wrong hands, take them. Finally, the court proceedings began. Each piece of evidence was presented with clarity and calm: timelines, forensic proofs, Mahendra's statements, and expert analyses. The case, complex and medically detailed, was made understandable for the jury without sensationalism. As the trial progressed, the narrative that had unfolded over months became unmistakable: a marriage strained by ambition, secrets, and resentment, a medical professional exploiting his access, a sister determined to seek justice. In the quiet aftermath, the story left a lasting impression. It was a reminder that even in modern, bustling cities, trust can be fragile and vigilance, ethical, professional, and personal, is vital. It highlighted the courage of those who refuse to accept convenient explanations and the power of meticulous investigation to uncover hidden truths. Kritika's life, though tragically cut short, became a beacon for awareness in the medical community. Policies regarding drug access, home treatment, and family oversight were revisited. The case prompted discussions on ethical responsibilities, oversight mechanisms, and the need for vigilance, even within trusted circles. In the end, the investigation closed not just with facts, but with reflection on human motives, professional accountability, and the unwavering pursuit of truth. The city returned to its routines, yet the story lingered, a quiet, sobering reminder that beneath every polished surface, the truth waits patiently to be discovered.